Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me on this very special and important episode of Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip, and I have a guest who put out that wonderful video of surviving Gypsy Rose Blanchard in the voice of Dee Dee Blanchard. I thought that video was something that struck me, and I wanted to promote it and talk about it. Those that haven't seen the video, please check out that video. The link is in the description. Please meet the artist that came up with this video. Somebody who has struggled with her own personal issues about trying to make things work in a system that doesn't often work when you have a sick child and you're trying to find out how to cure them and how to comfort them and how to remedy a situation that you might not have an answer to. So guys, listen up. I wanted to talk to you about this video that just came out, and a lot of so I got somebody saw it and sent it to me.
Oh.
And and you know, usually I don't like those videos cuz I don't know how somebody can like put themselves in somebody else's voice, but I thought it was done in really, really good taste. And that was the
you.
thing that I appreciated the most about it, because it wasn't it and the desperation. I think the thing that got me was the desperation in Dee Dee trying to find a cure for her kid, where, you know, it was like everybody was going, boy, that whole narrative with Dee Dee is really turned to shit. You know, it's really just such a horrible thing, and
Yeah.
and it's nice that there's something out there that is done in good taste, where people could. We're all saying it just hasn't really been done in her voice. So now, you said that you had to clone her voice, so I assume you cloned her voice through videos that we've all seen of her with Gypsy and such. Yeah.
Actually, I used the clip from when they first got in their house, and
Oh.
she was talking about, we just moved to Mayberry. It was that one.
Right. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you said that you just put age advancement
Yeah.
on.
For that, I mean, I just put her picture and it said, age progressed to 2025, and that's what it came up with. And if she hadn't been so ill, she was, I really believe, and this is just, of course, like the video, it's my opinion. If she hadn't been neglecting herself for so long, this is what she would have looked like, or closer to it.
Yeah, so she definitely didn't put herself first.
Nope.
You know, that
Nope.
was tragic, and I think that the only thing that she could honestly control, I think, was maybe what she was able to put in her own mouth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's actually not an uncommon thing for, eating disorders.
Yeah. No, I know that is the main thing. That's the thing that they can control. So now, so did you get? How did you? So you heard the story. How are you introduced to the Blanchard case? Let's start there.
Um, a long time ago, I had seen that Mommy Dead and Dearest.
Mhm.
And I thought that was interesting. I didn't really think a whole lot about it. My husband was like, "Why'd you buy that?"
Right.
Sometimes I like trash TV. Sometimes I don't want to think.
Right.
And then, when she was getting out of prison, I was really like rooting that girl on. In fact, I did a video with another creator, and it's still on my channel, about Munchausen by proxy and how the doctors got it wrong. And we were comparing Maya Kowalski's case with Dee Dee.
Okay, so wait a minute. Let's just start. Which channel? The Magic Wand production?
I should explain that. So I have two channels. One of them is Magic Wand Productions, and that's the one that's like my channel. The Lulu Bee, the reason I put it on there was because people in this community know my name. And I've been mentioning my video here and there as I've been creating it, and people were waiting for it. A few people, not a lot, just, you know,
Right.
They were waiting to see it, and I wanted them to just be able to go to click on my little logo and go and see it.
Right.
And then it kind of blew up to a little bit more than a handful of people. And sorry for the noise,
That's okay.
Doug. So that's why it's on two channels, and I know it's confusing. Hindsight, I really should have just stuck to one channel.
So, how many views have you gotten on the Dee Dee that surviving Gypsy, basically, or not surviving Gypsy?
Total, I think, maybe about 2,500. Not that. It's nothing too crazy.
I just don't think that enough people have seen it yet. I think that a lot of that when people see it, yeah, I think it's going to speak to them.
I hope so.
You know, because so where did you get your information when you're talking about like the desperation and such of what Dee Dee must have been going through when it came to Gypsy?
Mm-hmm.
Like, did you get that from like Becca Scoops? Did you get that from content creators?
No, I got that from my heart.
Okay.
I have a very medically fragile son, and I've been through it since he was born. I could relate a lot to Dee Dee from what I have seen. That's not for you, Doug. Sorry, my dog's chewing on a shoe now. I'm going to put him away, Toddy.
Okay. All right.
Because he's distracting me.
So you were saying that part came from your heart because you have a son that you could relate. You could relate to Dee Dee.
Yeah, for sure. You know, there's a common thread among parents who have very sick children, and that feeling of desperation, especially when it's something rare and nobody has an answer. That's when it really gets hard and you feel desperate. And even though, like with my son, we knew exactly what the problem was, but it's so rare that there were no answers. And he was sent home to die like twice. And I wasn't going to let him die. No way.
Right.
So it was up to me. I was either going to save him or he wasn't going to be saved.
Right.
My husband and I shouldn't, take it all credit, but yeah. So I understand that feeling of desperation. And I even said that in the video about if you haven't had a child with an uncertain future, you may not understand, but it really does intensify your love for them.
So can you talk a little bit about that? Because nobody has really, I don't want to say nobody. We've all talked about, how unfair this is to Dee Dee and how much she must have suffered at the hands of Gypsy. And also, I was saying that when a child is younger,
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot more desperate and it's a lot more frantic because the child can't always articulate what's wrong.
Right.
And when a child is younger, the symptoms seem to be much more, not pressing because I just said that, but much like my nephew was not deathly, but pretty much allergic to so much. And now he has a cat. And you know what I'm saying? Like we would have never had thought that the kid, I mean, even his diet as far as food was like bacon. I remember him only eating bacon because he was allergic to everything. And now, he's outgrown some of that. So Gypsy has this genetic, disorder basically, and it's not addressed right away. But then Gypsy's also adding on to this by faking some of the symptoms that she's going through, right?
Yeah.
But so Dee Dee, I mean, I do believe that, you know, and I remember hearing on your video that you were talking about how Dee Dee was like listening to that machine, that Gypsy, the breathing machine that Gypsy,
The apnea monitor. Yeah.
yeah. And how scary, because even her dad, even Gypsy's grandpa, so Dee Dee's dad even talked about how he would hear that machine too,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, I don't think that I don't know. Can you just speak on any of this, or
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, please.
Yeah. I have something similar. My son is on a 24-hour G tube feed. So my son has a G tube, and
And
he has
that's the feeding tube in the belly that Gypsy had,
right,
right?
right.
Right.
And I put an animation in the video of how that goes in and how it stays in. It's actually very easy to change out, and I did it today actually. Um, I don't know why they went to the hospital for that. I'm still like scratching my head on that one, but
Well, you got to remember it was a while ago too, right? So it was a
yeah,
while ago. It wasn't. It was. It's a. The crime took place at least 10 years ago. I mean, took place 10 years ago.
right. But G tubes were the same 10 years ago. But anyway, he has a pump,
Okay.
and that damn thing goes off all the time, and it's you hear it and you're like, ugh! And it kind of I think it goes back to when he has been really really sick. He's been in the intensive care unit on an oscillating ventilator, which is they reserve it for the sickest of kids. His
Right.
lungs were whited out on the x-ray because his pneumonia was so severe, and that pneumonia came from a PICC line, and the reason he had a PICC line was because he was getting fed through an IV at that point.
Mm.
And yeah, I've been through it medically with my son. I mean, I've been really through it. So I've recognized a lot with Dee Dee, and
Mhm.
I like as well, I don't want to like jump around too much, but when her family said that Gypsy would get out of her wheelchair and play, and when her mom came back, she'd hurry up and get back in. Well, I just connected the dots. She had hypotonia. She was having problems eating. Those are two things. She needed to reserve her energy, conserve it, because she wasn't taking in enough calories. So that's why she had that wheelchair. It had to be.
Hmm.
Everything kind of is related. Just like I was saying, how my son's lungs were whited out because of the PICC line, and he had the PICC line because he needed the feeding, and
Mhm.
it was all related. And I was thinking, well, why would a child like Gypsy need to be in a wheelchair? Well, that's why. She doesn't have energy to burn.
Yeah, she's still to this day, you know, supposedly. Well, you know, I don't know. With Gypsy, there's always a lie, because somebody was saying, I think Nick's mom was saying how easy it was for her to go up and down the stairs, no complaints about this really narrow staircase. And
Mm-hmm.
then, you know, other people are talking about how she has a hard time walking sometimes. I think she's just lazy. I don't know how much of her micro deletion that she has today, or how much she has grown out of. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah,
and I
well,
know. Go
it
ahead.
wasn't
I'm sorry.
because she can't walk. She absolutely could walk.
Right.
It was because they didn't want her to. They wanted her to stay put and don't burn up those calories because your heart needs them to pump.
Hmm.
She was wasting away as a young child till they finally got that G tube in. But she was in trouble.
No, I definitely think she was in trouble, and I think that that's why the teeth were rotting out of her head, because she wasn't getting any kind of nutrients or anything. But I think here with Gypsy, I think some of that was definitely medical, and I think some of that was behavioral as well.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
And
I believe
yeah,
she has conduct disorder. Becca's talked a lot about the social personality disorder. And basically, conduct disorder is the same thing, it's just in a child. But what a handful to raise, and to raise her by yourself? Oh, no, thank you.
Do you think that well, you had mentioned in the video a lot of times, actually, you had mentioned in the video that 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 she legitimately thought she wasn't going to live a long life.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, Rod has said in interviews that, Dee Dee would tell him one day that she wasn't supposed to live past this age, and then she would change it to another age. And it's probably what she was being told.
I think that there was some exaggeration or embellishment, depends on which end you're talking about, because I think that Rod, I think he was saying stuff to make Dee Dee look bad without him realizing, oh shit, that makes me look bad too because I didn't show up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think some of that was embellishment. And they probably didn't give her a date, Dee Dee, but as far as how long Gypsy would live, but to say that she's probably not going to live, as long.
I'm sure they gave him like an estimate.
Right.
Around this time, maybe, if, they'll never tell you if your child's going to live or die in a hospital.
Well, they didn't even know which microdeletion it was until 2 years before the unaliving of Dee Dee. You know what I'm saying?
They didn't know what it was, period. They assumed it was genetic.
Well, they knew it was a chromosome disorder. They knew that like 4 years before she died, and then a year or two later is when they recognized the chromosome, which one it was. I don't know much about chromosome stuff except for what I've learned from like Becca and other people that have talked about it and looking up those twins, the Schletzi, the pinheads, I hate to say that, but the twins that that we all envision when we hear and we know what a microdeletion is. That's we go to those people. But I think that the video, what was your main goal with the video? And just talk about like a little of the process of that video that you did. And
okay. Well, my main goal was to show that Dee Dee did not have Munchausen by proxy or factitious disorder. That was absolutely made up by Mike Stanfield.
Yeah.
And how unfair is it to go down in history as being a monster when you weren't? And in fact, you did everything in your power to save that kid.
Yeah.
And I had been, for a long time, watching people's videos, lots of Becca and you and tons. And I realized that, it's kind of hard for somebody who's coming into this new to figure out that she didn't have it without watching a lot. Like it would be difficult. And I wanted to make one video where you would get the message, the big message in one video. Of course, it's not the entire message, but I tried to focus on the key points.
Right.
Her G-tube, shaving her head, the wheelchair. There was one other one, but anyway, I was trying to just make it a little easier for somebody new to watch it and be like, okay, that makes sense. At least that's what I had hoped.
And to relate to it as well, and to
humanize her a little bit.
To humanize her and to take back some of the dignity that fucking her daughter is just trying to destroy.
She can't say one nice thing, and she can never just let it go or let something slide. She's too determined to destroy her memory. She's too determined. Why?
Yeah. Yeah, she definitely has doubled down on that. But the weird thing is, this is the weird thing. And I brought it up in my last video, and I brought it up a few times now. She said nice things about her mom right after she had Nick believe, whether he did it or he didn't, unalive her. So
Right.
she tells him horrible things about her mom, so that he gets on board finally after 2 years, and he unalives her mom. So he
Right.
thinks, at least.
Right.
And then, like, she was a great mom. She did all these wonderful things. They were together for 5 days or 3 days, whatever it was. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
5 days. Why all of a sudden in the 5 days did she become this great mom that he felt so guilty about? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's Gypsy's sickness right there. And Gypsy gets off on that. And that's worrisome to me today, because I don't know where that behavior has gone. And you know, there's a sick actual part to her, which I think connects
Yep.
with the crime, and that makes her very dangerous to me.
Yes, I agree.
I worry about that.
I don't know that she had any therapy in prison. You know,
she
I've heard.
didn't. She
Yeah.
didn't. No, she didn't.
Yeah.
I heard the
There's no
requirement.
change. Zero. There's no change. And you can't change, you know, completely change somebody with antisocial personality disorder, but you can work with them and work through it if they want to do better. I don't think she wants to. She's been rewarded and she's gotten positive reinforcement for all of her behaviors.
Yes.
She's what I call the murder of crows, pecking around her feet for her little crumbs. Her friends.
Yeah.
If
I
they
call them mindless minions.
If they genuinely cared about her, they wouldn't be doing that.
Oh, absolutely. First of all, they would recognize that there is a problem. I mean, there is a huge problem that somebody could be so callous. Here's the thing, and I touched upon this as well. There's so many pictures of Gypsy just grinning, you know, from ear to ear. And look at the pictures of her mom.
Yeah.
Look at the crime scene photos.
Right.
That, I mean, like, I have no words for the fact that a lawyer could come up with an alibi that's impossible to diagnose.
Yeah.
And get somebody off the hook who is dangerous. She's dangerous, and it hasn't been worked on. The only requirement, from my understanding, for her to get out on parole was to get her GED, which she did. She's had no therapy. She's talked about that. The only therapy she's ever alluded to maybe having, if we're to believe anything, I don't know, you know, it's hard with her, is couples therapy with Ken.
Oh, yeah. Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah. So, well, first of all, are you a person that, so Gypsy has said recently that her caring has become detached or something, where she's not able to care. And I have been talking about on my videos for a minute about, like, there's something disconnected with her. There's something that is detached. She was born not only with something that could be scientifically and physically seen. I don't know. I think now you can go and you can check brains. You can check the brain and see, like, especially where the injuries are on football players like the Aaron Hernandez. And I think, I don't know if there's something you can see in serial killers. I don't know if there's something you can see in evil people, but whatever, there's something in Gypsy. She was born with I'm convinced, and there's a detachment, and there you can't fix that. It's kind of like, I don't believe you could fix somebody with a conscience. You hit somebody, you feel bad. You know what I mean? You accidentally bump into somebody, you automatically say, I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? Like,
not
there is usually
get out of my way.
not yet. Yeah, just like with every action, there's a reaction. Even when it comes to people, with Gypsy, there's none. Like, her reaction is another action. It's you know what I mean? And there's I don't think that that's something that can be addressed. Like, it can't be fixed, in my opinion, and I'm not sure it comes from the micro deletion. I don't know that that evil comes from, and I call that evil, how she left her mom when easy, she could have unalived her in such a more humane way. She had many alternatives. She had insulin, she had drugs. She didn't even give her mom something to numb her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's another reason why I think that Nick unalived an unalived woman, is because she told him that she was going to be out of it, like, one, that she was sleeping. Basically, he gave her the sleeping pill and such. I think the memories that Nick has were presented by Gypsy. I think that Gypsy put those memories. Remember, my mom did this. No, I heard it. I heard, you know what I mean? Like, I think, because listen, that's not an everyday scene. I don't care who you are. That's not an everyday scene that you walk into and you either unalive or somebody's already, you think you are. I believe that he thinks, I know that he stabbed her 4 times. I believe that. But there are 13 other stab wounds there. It's not funny, but
Right. I agree with you. I think he stabbed a corpse too. I am not educated in forensics. I don't know much at all, but just based on what I've heard and seen, and the fact that, like, there was no splatter on his shirt, nothing. She had no blood pressure. She would have needed a blood pressure.
Right.
It would have been a little bit messier, I believe. But I don't. Yeah, I think Gypsy did it.
I think she did it too, and I think I think that, like you had mentioned in your video as well, that I think you even might have used the word hypochondria, like overly sensitive, at least to the very least, of being afraid that something can happen to Gypsy. And I don't think.
Yeah.
Do you think that Dee Dee ever, before her unaliving, do you think that she ever realized, not as bad as I thought? Or I know that you don't know her, you know what I mean, but with everything that you've seen, and I don't know,
I'm not quite sure I understand the question.
So do you think at any point in Dee Dee's life, before obviously she passed and was murdered, do you think that she realized Gypsy's not nearly as sick as I thought she was, or she's outgrown some of this, or I
think that can be answered by her medical records, and I think Gypsy wasn't as sick as she got older. I think she they took care of some things. The G tube they took care of. They did the fundoplication, which was the using the stomach to kind of make a purse string to help with the GERD.
Right.
They got her eyes.
And that's another reason why she had lost a lot of teeth too, because of the GERD, the acid coming back up.
Yeah, and she started off with weak enamel. That is from the microdeletion, the hypoplasia of her enamel. So that, in combination with the GERD, definitely wouldn't help. And that she liked to guzzle Pepsi, I think.
Yeah, they're Pepsi fans for sure.
Yeah, that's more the East Coast thing.
Not me, man. I'm a Coke girl.
Well, thank God there's at least one. I I think Dee Dee wasn't nearly as worried about Gypsy once they found out about that microdeletion. And she probably had a big sigh of relief and kind of went, well, that's that. And her, all the things that had been pressing before were no longer a big deal. So she finally could relax and, well, not relax. I mean, please, Gypsy said that all she had to do was exist. So
Exactly.
she was still a maid and full-time maid and nanny and everything, excuse me, everything else, which that's a lot of work, especially when you're sick. So she finally had time to be sick, I guess.
Well, she had no choice. I think that's what happened. And when you saw the state of the house, I mean, I don't know what kind of standards she was used to before, but it was almost like a hoarding situation for sure.
Well, I think
that has to do with mental health as well with Dee Dee for sure. You know what I'm saying?
I think she was burned out and depressed.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I think the house was a symptom of that.
I would agree. I would agree with that. Yep.
I don't think it had anything to do with Gypsy walking. Not everything's about Gypsy.
Don't tell Gypsy that.
But
you have to say, but you got to admit there was wheelchairs in each room of the house.
Yeah.
All she had to do was walk in, go back and forth in the wheelchair, come back out, walk out.
That's energy conservation.
Yeah. Yeah. So, do you want to make more videos, or what are you going to continue on with the Gypsy Rose?
Well, I made one today.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I made a mistake. The mistake was that I didn't include the clip of Christy saying that the baby had been awake till 4 a.m. I'm like, oh, I know why that baby's awake till 4 a.m. I know exactly why.
Why is that?
Because they've been putting her in front of a computer screen, the blue light. That baby's been in front of a screen every time I've heard Gypsy. Okay. When she's there. From long ago, I remember hearing baby video, and she even mentioned, like, she went from 0 screen time to that.
Right.
He's always in front of a video, I'm sure. So I made a video about blue light.
Okay. I haven't seen that video.
And well, yeah, make sure you watch it to the end.
Okay. I'll definitely watch it to the end. And which channel is that on? Magic Wand?
Oh, Mothership.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Mothership. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Magic Wand is actually my son's channel.
Okay.
Where I show
all the up here.
Stuff we have done with him, that we do with him.
Okay. Okay, cool.
That's kind of the other thing I had in common with her is I want to give my son a really great life. I do what I can.
Right.
And I recognize that in Dee Dee too. She didn't have the funds to do it.
No, she didn't.
So she found a way to do it.
I'm not sure that, as we're digging deeper and deeper into it, and finding out more stuff, I'm not too sure that she wasn't convinced that it wasn't all these other things before it was finally diagnosed with what it was.
Oh,
I think that there was a lot of people throwing, spaghetti at the wall there.
Yeah, I think she did. Well, also because Gypsy exaggerated things, so
yeah,
she's probably kind of had to figure out what was real, what wasn't real, and still take care of her. And I'm sure she wasn't an easy kid. There was one thing that I forgot to mention in the video, and it's not a big deal. It's just a little thing. And that's, about her head being shaved. Her hair was always short to begin with. She kept it very short. I think it's because Gypsy threw a fit to have her hair brushed, and she finally said, forget it. You're getting a pixie.
Right.
I know that's not an important part, but it's something that I had thought about.
I think Gypsy, I hate to say this, but I think Gypsy was also disgusting.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, there's a reason why she was wearing a diaper at the age that she was wearing a diaper. And I don't think it was because of incontinence. I don't think it was that. I think that she liked it. And that's a weird thing on its own.
Well, now that you mention that, I actually had two versions of the wheelchair. I had one version of energy conservation, and the other one was Gypsy lied about being paralyzed. And I'm kind of come to the conclusion it could be both. It could have been like started off as energy conservation, and then as she got better and didn't need it so much, she wanted it and made it up.
Oh,
But one of the things I said in the video is the other version of the wheelchair was that Dee Dee was changing diapers, dirty diapers, unnecessarily for years, and that it was part of her mental illness, not Dee Dee's, Gypsy's. Liking it.
yeah, I believe that. Yeah, Gypsy is just so sick. I totally believe that. Yeah.
I think she's a very, very well. That also brings up something else. If it's, I don't know. I mean, this is a whole different topic. I don't know if I should even bring it up. I was going to say, if it's mental illness, how much of the blame do you put on the person?
Oh, on Gypsy, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still going to give her all the blame because she takes no responsibility.
She knows right from she knows.
It'd be one thing if she knows enough to not take any of the blame. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She knows enough to put the blame on somebody else, so she knows it's wrong, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. She knows right from wrong. She just has no impulse control.
And no conscience, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Echo. She has no conscience. Nobody has told her, or I don't understand how, I don't know how people go through life without feeling things. But here's the thing. If you don't feel that, then you really don't feel love. You might experience it as an endorphin, you know what I mean? Experience where, but there's no real feeling per se. There's more of just I don't know, a jolt or something, but nothing to keep you there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's like, I think with most people, when you love someone, you take the good with the bad. And with Gypsy, if there's any bad, she plows them down.
Yeah.
Just knocks them down.
It's funny because, Dee Dee, what we know about Dee Dee is she tried to make sure that Gypsy was included in everything. You know what I mean? Like when she would have the movie nights.
That was, I'm very sure, to bring kids to the house so she could socialize.
Yeah. To make sure her daughter was included in things.
Yeah. Like I do for Halloween for my son is I give out really nice gifts. We ride around. He has a special bike that he got from Make-A-Wish. It's a really cool bike. So he sits in the front in the cargo area, and we hand out trick-or-treat treats to kids. And that's, my way of attracting them so he can have some socialization.
Right.
Little. Yeah. So I believe that's what she was doing.
You know that you heard where Gypsy, when she was younger, how she threatened to push the eyes in the back of one of the kids' heads. You heard. So I think that Gypsy was, and now it's come out that Gypsy wasn't very receptive or kind to anybody that Dee Dee might have had some sort of future with.
Yeah.
So this poor woman was like, she had a lifelong sentence until her daughter decided to end that life.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely horrible.
Yeah, I mean, she was really dedicated to Gypsy, like too dedicated. I think any typical parent would have put Gypsy in a group home.
You really think so?
Yeah.
For behavioral or medical?
Yeah. Behavioral. Yeah. When she was older, not so much when she.
Oh yeah, the first time she would have tried to kill you. Absolutely.
Definitely. If my kid had done that to me, I would not have covered for him. No way.
Twice apparently, right? There's 2 times now. There was a dagger incident that's now just coming out.
Yeah.
So
ninja. Um, I can't, I think the only hope Gypsy would have possibly had is if she had some 1980s tough love, um, because nothing affected her, nothing.
Well, I think that her mom was trying to make up for not having a dad
Yep.
as well. And
Yep.
I think it was reversed where Gypsy says that her mom kept telling her that her dad didn't come because she wasn't a boy or
Blah blah blah.
because of he didn't want her. I think that Gypsy was telling her mom that her dad left because of her mom. I
Probably.
think that that's what was going on there. I don't think it was I think that what I've come to realize is everything she's blamed on her mom is basically everything that's about herself. And she
Yeah.
still can't remember it.
Yeah. I think she kind of goes with the opposite to keep up with all of it. And as far as, her saying that Dee Dee said that he left because she wasn't a boy, please.
Oh no, I know that. He left because he didn't want to be uh he just didn't want to be responsible to anybody.
He was still a kid.
Yeah, but he didn't want to be responsible to anybody and he knew better too because he lies about it now.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, like, I can understand kind of both sides with Rod. Like, he was a dumb teenager, impregnating the Bayou, and
yeah, exactly.
um, but on the other hand, he impregnated the Bayou, and even if you are a kid, you got to step up.
Yeah, exactly.
That's when you grow up fast. But
Yeah.
I think somebody wrote in my comments, and I was surprised, saying that Rod didn't lie to Dee Dee about his age, that Dee Dee lied to Rod.
Yeah, I saw that.
I
I
was like,
saw that.
that doesn't
Yeah.
really make sense because um, 17-year-old boys will lie. They'll say anything to get a girl.
Right, right.
And Dee Dee was a beautiful woman.
Yeah, she was. She was until her daughter sucked the life out of her.
Yeah,
And that's who Ken is really aging by in dog years.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah. He's lost a lot of volume in his face
Yeah. Yeah.
and hair.
Yep. That's for sure. She is
I
just
mean, and there must be like the Gypsy effect because I saw a picture of Ryan, and it looks like he doesn't have a whole lot of hair on the top of his head.
he doesn't, and you know what? I thought that was AI and it might be exaggerated, but then I saw him, or maybe it was he was doing his live stream where he walks the dog outside. Maybe that was it, but there was a wind that blew.
Yeah.
And you could see that he really did. That the picture that they took of him, there might not have been that much exaggeration because he definitely looked like he was losing. That he has a pretty good comb over there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
There's like I left a comment. I wish I could remember the whole thing, but I was like saying it's the Gypsy effect. You lose your
she'll
you
suck the life out of you, man. It's like it's a vampire effect with that one.
you end up addicted on drugs. There was like two more that I had, and like of course now I don't remember. But she she's she's a sick cookie.
Yes, she is. So you're going to continue on with the Gypsy.
I might do a little here and there. I don't think I can put out another video like I just did because that really took a long time. And
Yeah,
other
you said you did
than
that. You started
stuff.
that in September. You
Yeah,
said.
yeah. I mean, like if I totaled up the hours, it was. I don't think people are going to believe me, but you got to remember I'm not computer savvy, and I did the whole thing on my phone. So
Wow.
um, it took me like over 200 hours
Wow.
at least.
Wow. people really do need to see it because it's the closest I've ever seen to, and this isn't, you know who Candace Starr is?
Mm-hmm.
So I, you know, there's nothing wrong with what Candace does. And there's people that believe that. I have a problem with that. And when this video was sent to me, I got to be honest with you, when I first saw what it was, I was like, I don't fucking, you know what I mean? Like, that was exactly my attitude. And
I
then,
probably would have thought the same thing.
no, seriously. And then, because I say, who is this person, whoever you were?
Mm-hmm.
The first place I go to is, who is this person that is going to speak on behalf of Dee Dee? That's
Right.
the first place I go to.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I go to the hologram thing, and I'm like, I hate those, you know what I'm saying? Because it's presumptuous. I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah.
But then right away, I said, no, I was listening, maybe because I couldn't get to turning it off so quickly or whatever.
Mhm.
And right away it got me, and I did, and I sat back and I watched it, and I thought, wow. I watched it on 1.5 speed, to be honest with you, but I thought, wow, that there's so, like, wow. So, and I was looking through the comments, and I didn't see any negative comments at all.
There
So
hasn't been any really bad ones, just like that one person who was saying that Dee Dee lied about her age and Rod didn't owe 30,000. I'm like, it doesn't matter. You know, he owed child support. That's why there was a bank account in Louisiana, because that was set up by the courts. Positive. I can't say positive, but I'm pretty damn sure.
So you did a lot of work as far as even like investigating into this case and stuff. Besides,
Not a lot on the conduct disorder, a little bit, but this is all from life experiences, really. And I'm a nurse. That helped. That helped a lot. But my experiences with my son is really what I drew from.
yeah, I can only imagine. I mean, you know, that's the best I could do, is only imagine, because the truth is, you don't know. And even though you can bond with Dee Dee and understand, each individual experience is something totally different, because you got, as you were saying, support from your husband, and thankfully, not near as desperate as Dee Dee was financially.
Right.
You know, certainly as desperate as Dee Dee was,
Emotionally, for sure.
and trying to find a resolution to what is wrong with my kid.
Right. How do we fix this?
Yeah, because I mean, how many sleepless nights, and that's not talked about when you know, that's looked over, the lifestyle that Dee Dee Blanchard had to have lived when she feared for her daughters, for her life, honestly, for her life, legitimately for her life.
Yeah.
It is honestly a whole lifestyle. Besides, I you know, I never wanted kids because I said, I'll never sleep at night. I will be worried forever. And I'm too selfish. I don't want to do that. I just knew that I couldn't do that. So you have that worry as a parent, and then the added worry of a sickly kid that you have no answers for, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I have a lot of respect for her. I mean, somebody asked me today, do you think Dee Dee was a good person? I'm like, oh, I don't know. I know she was a good mom. I can see that. I know what a pain in the ass it is to drag your kid to appointments. Feeding therapy every week, probably more than once a week for 2 years. She took good care of her, and she did her best by herself. So if she's a good person, I would, seems like she was.
So you said that,
I think that's, I mean, what you were saying, that you didn't want to have children because you felt like you are too selfish or whatever. Things change once you have them.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. It's scary, and especially with what the world has turned into now, as far as you have your kids go off to school. You know, like I'd have grandchildren at this point, I would think, if I had kids. And you worry about your grandchildren going to school. Um, the world's just become such it just even more of a difficult
Very
and
uncertain.
scarier place. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
definitely a
uncertain.
scarier place.
And that's a place where Dee Dee was for years. Uncertainty.
I believe that, and desperate and frantic
Yeah.
and alone
Yeah.
and
That's why I have a
having
lot of respect for her, because she did it. You know, she pulled through as long as she could. She got Gypsy to the point where she was well enough to not need all the additional support.
you recognize that definitely Dee Dee was messing with Gypsy's birth date, yes, on the
Yeah,
medical records. And why do you think that?
I have
Why do
no
you
idea. I mean, probably there had to have been a financial benefit or a medical benefit.
I think so too. I think that because you have to remember she wasn't diagnosed with the microdeletion until she was actually uh 20.
Oh yeah, so then she wouldn't have been eligible for certain. Um, I mean, I don't. This is something I haven't looked into, so I don't know for sure. But if I was going by California standards, once you turn 21, you're no longer eligible for the insurance that's for really sick kids.
Okay. Because so they didn't know the microdeletion until she was like 19 or 20.
Right.
And then they didn't, and so of course you're going to start knocking the birth date back before you get to, if your kid's still sick, in my opinion, if your kid's still sick, you're going to keep fucking knocking the date back as much as you can until
Yeah.
you get as much, you know, um help for your child as possible. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know that that's so much a grift. Like it's so hard because like I feel like that stuff eh, no child should go without that.
Right.
So
And there probably was um, a program that she could have been eligible for, and Medicaid. I don't. Yeah, I just don't know enough about that part of it. But I have to assume that it was whatever it was for Gypsy's benefit.
yeah, I don't see a lot of benefit that came to Dee Dee. I
Yeah, it wasn't
mean,
for her.
there isn't
No.
a picture of Dee Dee that, I mean, her glow is always about her daughter, you
Hmm.
know. So yeah. So you
When I
said
was,
go ahead, I'm
I
sorry.
was gonna say, when I was a little, very, very little girl, like 2, and I have a pretty good memory from when I was little. I remember my dad would say to me, "How much do we love each other?" And I'd always say, "Too much."
Okay.
And I think Dee Dee really did love her too much. I
Yeah.
mean, maybe there's no such thing. She didn't love her too much. She confused love with being permissive and spoiling her and not disciplining her. And that made Gypsy evolve with her conduct disorder that I believe she has,
Mhm.
evolve into, it was like adding gasoline to the fire. She needed structure
Oh, definitely. But I
and
also think
consistency.
but here's the thing, and this is what I think maybe you'll agree with this. Now that you've put this in the eyes of, or in the voice of Dee Dee, where she can tell her story more or less. Um, Here's a woman who's desperate because her daughter's so ill. She's doing it on her own, so now she's making up for the fact that her dad has walked away.
Yeah, I'm sure that played into it.
And yeah, she just overspoiled. I mean, she totally spoiled her, making up for shit, and also probably because she might have felt like she was racing against the clock and wanted her to live a lifetime for as long as
Yeah.
that lifetime was going to exist for.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think Rod's absence had a lot to do with Gypsy's behavior with men.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
You know, that's
You
like,
see it
you know,
with the you see it with when she sent the picture to her dad. I mean, who sends their dad a naked picture? I mean,
not me.
you know, me neither. No, I mean, I wouldn't even dream of it. Who the fuck?
No.
I wouldn't even dream of it.
It's
You know?
it's yeah, it's weird. And there does seem to be like some type of sexual attraction there. As gross as that is, it from the things she said to him and sending that picture
Yeah.
and the stuff
Yeah.
that I actually didn't read it. It was read in a video from her book. Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah. I read her book.
Did you?
I mean, I read her book online. Like, I read her book online. I think it was, we read it for like 10 days and finished it. Yeah. Uh huh. We did.
And was your opinion that this is not a well individual?
Yeah, there was stuff that was very hard for, like, I wouldn't read certain things. Like, I'm like, guys, I'm not gonna read this. I remember saying a few times, guys, I'm not gonna read this. This is
Well,
just
and how inappropriate to dedicate it to her daughter.
exactly, because I'm thinking she's probably getting off while other people are reading this book. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, she's just so nasty. She's
Yeah.
just so nasty, and it definitely, I think, it definitely has something to do with sex. There's a release or
Yeah.
something. It's motivated and it's climaxed and it's about that. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
maybe.
that's what it's about, and that's what my big concern when I ask, where is that behavior now? Like, where it's still there, so who's the recipient of it now?
Yeah.
I'm concerned. That's a huge concern for me.
I am too.
And a few people have said, "Oh, Ryan and Ken." Well, we know that Gypsy had said that Ken likes to choke, so he likes it rough.
Ooh,
But yeah, no, she said that in an in an email that came out, one in the FOIA. She talked about that.
interesting. He likes to choke.
Yeah. So and she likes to be the recipient of that. So if she's not with him in that way, and I'm not sure that she is for any real length of time. Every time they just she seems to blow it,
Yeah.
And I think he's trying real hard because now they're connected by this kid, but I think he's going to end up with custody of this kid. And
I hope so.
and how much more can you take from somebody who's so broken and doesn't even try, in my
Yeah.
opinion,
I mean,
to get
whatever
fixed?
happens between them, I really don't care. I
Right.
care about the baby. She's an innocent victim in all of this.
Yeah. So you do believe
They
there's a
can choke
baby
each
for
other
sure?
out for all I
Yeah,
care.
yeah, right. As long as the baby's taken care of.
Yeah.
So you do believe there's a baby?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately, but I understand why people don't. I mean,
Oh,
you can
absolutely.
go back and see in her baby shower, you can clearly see the pillow under her dress. So I don't know if it was like a timing thing or they needed to film after she had delivered, so she needed to look pregnant, or
Yeah, probably
or if,
something
or if
like
she
that.
was carrying the baby in a transverse position and she just didn't look pregnant and needed to, but
I
you can
bet you
see
it was
it.
more for the filming thing. But here's the thing: now, this is where I say that Gypsy makes things worse for herself. So it was probably for filming. That makes sense. Okay. So instead of instead of watching people go back and forth and talk about it, which she enjoys, this is why, you would come on and say, listen, I had already given birth, but because of the filming, that's why. So instead of acting like you're so offended at the fact that we can't figure out if you're pregnant or not, because it clearly something is going on, she just enjoys that, because
Mhm.
she could have nipped in the bud a lot of this. There's two babies that she's always taking a picture of. There are two babies. Maybe one is Ken's nephew or niece or whatever, and the other one, okay, might be their baby, if there's a baby. But she'll purposely, and we know this because we've seen it, she'll at least save a picture of a kid. And she might not be with that kid that day, but she'll take a picture of her kid and then take a picture of another kid. And clearly, it's two different kids, because there's no angle there.
Mhm.
There's a bigger baby. And
Oh, yeah.
I think she purposely does that. She knows yep.
Well, that one baby looked like almost like a toddler when she was feeding it, when it just did that little kick and she was like
Right. The legs are like, and then
chunky.
exactly. And then there was, she also had her at one point, and then there's the same day, supposedly she's in a playpen, and it's
Mhm.
totally
She was
different.
tiny.
It's a totally different baby, and there's nothing about angle there. It's two different babies, and
Yeah.
they're purposeful.
Gypsy doesn't know her angles that well for the baby. She's got to figure
Yeah,
those out.
no. She doesn't spend enough time on anything. I don't
Yeah.
know if that has a lot to do with the micro deletion, the lack of concentration, the lack of follow through, or if that's just a behavioral
Mm-hmm.
problem. I mean, there's so many problems
Yeah.
that aren't addressed, and this woman is out here on the streets, and she's going to come in contact with people that have kids, and
Yeah.
she is somebody who I think is dangerous to kids. I think she's dangerous to kids. And I put out that video, and I know I gave a lot of thought to it, because I'm like, I'm gonna get ripped off bad about this, about the video with the Ian Watkins and the comparison, but then also the Maddie Soto and the Jen Soto, and how her mom offered up her daughter, and how
Well,
those people of Ian Watkins, those fans, offered up their children, even infant babies,
it's
to him.
disgusting.
And so there's people that do it. So when Gypsy's talking about how she's going to have Nick do that to their third, she had to think of that first. She had to think of that bad behavior,
Yeah.
envision it, and then write it down.
Yeah. That's
And now she has a child, and you don't think there's a concern there that she
Yeah.
hasn't been, none of the bad behavior's been addressed.
well, I kind of wonder how much she actually has that baby, because I think Christy might have her quite a bit. When you do a 7-hour live stream, you really can't do that with a baby around. And then Christy was saying
That the baby was up till 4 a.m., right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that's what gave me the idea for the video. Do you want to you can totally cut this out of your video if you want to, but if you want to see it, you can go to my channel, can you?
Let me see. So which channel did you say it was on?
On the Mothership Explorers.
Okay, let me see. I don't know that I subscribed to that channel, because I wasn't sure. I thought they stole from you.
Yeah.
Mothership Explorers.
It might not even come up in a search. It's so micro.
This is really good. You put this up today?
Yeah.
We're gonna watch it all, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you hear that the baby supposedly has blue eyes and looks like Mia?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Ken said she looked like baby Snow White, so
Okay.
I figured that's kind of what she looked like. She's probably cute. And
I
I
think
saw a
I'll-
picture of her. I saw a picture. I don't know if
Oh.
it's a real picture, but
Yeah, I don't know what she looks like. All babies are cute, though, right? I would
No.
say all babies. No?
no.
All right. Well, I was being kind.
Yeah, I'm honest.
Okay.
I worked in, when I was working as a nurse, I worked in maternity.
Okay.
They they come out looking like old people, little teeny tiny old people.
you kind of go out the same way you came in, looking the same.
If you're blessed, right? If you're
A long
blessed.
life.
Yeah.
I think I saw one newborn out of thousands that was pretty. One.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh? Was it a boy or a girl?
Girl.
And that's something.
Yep. Well, of course, my son was, and my daughter, they were both very pretty.
Right.
I wonder what
So that-
Gypsy looked like.
That's what you were saying right there. That that's what it interrupts the sleep cycle.
Yeah.
What do you mean what Gypsy looked like is when she was a
A
baby?
newborn.
Oh yeah, I guess we haven't seen that.
Well, I have that one picture on my video, but that's just one picture with her eye turned in, you know.
Yeah. She definitely would have gone blind if she wouldn't have had those surgeries for her eye, for
Right,
sure.
right.
You'd think she'd appreciate that, but nope.
She has zero appreciation
There you
for
go.
anything.
4 a.m. You put that in there, didn't you? Purposefully 4 a.m.
Well, no, Christy said that she was awake to 4.
I know, but you put this in the video, the 4
Yeah.
a.m. right?
Yeah, yeah.
Purposefully. So you have that in a crate. Am I right?
He's in the kitchen.
No.
Oh, the baby.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. This
With
kid.
Parker.
Do you think that Gypsy at all seems natural with that baby?
Not really. She seems uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable, and almost like it's forced. Like there and there's like no connection.
Yeah, she doesn't seem relaxed at all. Very stiff.
And they weren't going to give her any screen time. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that's why I was, when Christy said that, I was just like, oh my God. She went from, well, maybe when she's 16, I'll let her have a screen if she's good.
As soon as things were going to get a little difficult, we knew Gypsy was going to,
Oh yeah.
Because there's no follow through with her. None.
Right. It's easy to say it. It's a lot harder to do it.
Well, look at how many times she's reinvented herself.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, that's what I was saying at the end of the video. You know, she's trying to change who she is, but she can't.
Right.
You know,
Well,
your hair can only do so much.
Yeah, no. Yeah. That's and that's why I have concerns, because there's stuff out there. So what kind of nurse were you, if you don't mind me asking?
Well,
And if you don't want to talk about it,
no,
just
it's
tell
fine.
me. Okay.
I did a little bit. I started off in home health. I had no idea what I was doing at all. And they were sending me into Compton and Watts. And the patients didn't take me seriously one bit. I looked like I was 15.
Mm-hmm.
And that didn't last too long. And then I did maternity and OB, and then I went to graduate school at NYU to be a midwife. And I got cold and came home.
Mm-hmm.
And I did plastic surgery in Beverly Hills, and then back to maternity. And then my son was born, and no more. I'm a full-time employed by the big boss.
Well, God bless. He's very fortunate to have you.
Thank you.
Because as you said, people would put people like your son in a home because
yeah.
it'd be too
I remember
difficult.
nurses like telling my husband and myself, you know, that's so great that you're here. I'm like, what are you talking about? Great that I'm here. Of course I'm here. I'm the mom.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, well, you know, a lot of parents leave them. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
No.
It's sad.
There's people that don't want perfectly healthy children. You see that all the time.
You never know what you're going to get.
Yeah, but what I'm saying to you is, it's weird that surprises you, because in this world, I mean, there's people that don't even want perfectly healthy children. I mean, we see that. Well, you know what I'm saying?
I guess because I think if you went through a pregnancy, you must want that child.
you'd think.
Yeah.
But I guess people change their minds. I don't know. People can be pretty sick. Of course, it was an eye opener to have the nurse say that to me. And then I witnessed it, as was a long time patient in the pediatric intensive care unit. I saw it from my own eyes.
Right.
It broke my heart. And I wanted to go sit with those little babies. And I couldn't because the hospital rules, but I would have.
Right. Right. Yeah. So you speaking for Dee Dee, or speaking for a mother who's frantically trying to prolong the quality of life and the life of their child, is very commendable. And I really did enjoy that
Thank you.
video.
I realized it was a big responsibility. I really did. And I wasn't trying to be presumptive or arrogant. I was really going from the heart, and what would Dee Dee have felt like, how, in this situation, I really tried to humble myself and put myself on the back burner and
Right.
look at her.
Right.
And I felt like, I'm not tapping into her spirit or anything.
Right.
I just
Right.
feel like I understood her.
Right. No, that's the way it came across. That's the way it came across. And I'm glad that I gave it a chance to watch, and I'm glad you're getting the reception that you're getting from it. And
Yeah,
I
thank
think
you.
it's a really good video, and I'm definitely going to promote it. I'm all for it. I'm trying to make sure that people understand who Gypsy is. There's two things I want. One, I want Dee Dee's legacy to be what it's deserving of, and not this poison that Gypsy has filled.
Right.
And I would like Nick to at least get a fair trial, and
Yes.
whatever leads to that is, whatever the judge decides after that, I'm fine with, as long as he gets a fair trial.
Whatever
He
happened,
deserves
I
a
wrote a
fair
letter.
trial. Anyway, thank you for coming on the channel. First of
Yeah,
all, I
thanks
want
for
to say
having
thank
me.
you for coming on.
It's
I think it's a
good
great
talk.
video. Yeah, thank you so much. I think so too. All right, guys. So that's at the Mothership Explorers, and I'm gonna put that link below. You guys should check out the two videos. There's a few videos on the channel. Check them out, guys. Show some love to that channel. I so appreciate the guests for coming here. I just really appreciate everything that was shared on this channel, and I certainly hope that you guys can run over to her channel and give a bunch of love over there. So thank you so much, guys. Have a great day. I appreciate you. All right, guys, be better today than you were yesterday, not half as good as you'll be tomorrow. Take care of yourselves, guys. I'll see you real soon. Thank you so much.